This is the first in a series of free health talks, online health talks. And the first one that we're going to do tonight is the power of rhythm, aligning your daily habits for health and longevity. So if you have been struggling in the past, or even recently, um, I'm gonna help you to understand how syncing your daily habits with natural rhythms can boost your energy, to improve your digestion, balance your hormones, and help you to lose weight. So this is really targeted for women, but it's relevant for men. But I'm really looking to help women that need that need to rebalance themselves. So the life that we're living now in modern days, our rhythm is naturally disrupted. We've got electricity, we've got TV, we the processed food, all of that kind of stuff is wreaking havoc on our natural rhythms. Our culture, the whole culture is structured around going against nature, in my opinion. Yeah. And as women, we are cyclical. So we really benefit from the cycles of nature, the moon cycles. We can sync our periods often with the moon cycles, obviously the daily cycles as well. And our anatomy and our physiology is a lot more sensitive than a man's physiology. Their threshold for stress and tolerance for disruption in rhythm is a lot higher than ours. And so we're really sensitive and intuitive, and that's just the way women are. And so any disruption in those kind of daily, seasonal, or even annual rhythms can really have an impact on our hormones and on how we're feeling, how we experience the world and experience our life. And it can really make or break us. And in your 20s and your 30s, you probably could get away with it quite a bit. And I think I definitely did push the limits in my 20s. But then as we get older into our 40s, we start to realize that we can't continue. We can't continue. We do need to find some balance, especially as you move into your perimenopause and your menopause. You're losing the hormones, so you do have to find that natural rhythm. Yeah. So, so who's this talk for, really? Well, I've kind of said it's for women, but people as well that women that have tried diets, quick fix diets, one size fits all solutions. This thing is not what I'm going to present, what I'm talking about is not going to be for you. If you just want to take a pill, if you want to inject yourself, if you want that quick, okay, just sort me out quickly, not make any effort, not have any connection to your body, then this is not going to be for you. Yeah. So this method, this wisdom, which is ancient wisdom that I'm sharing with you, is wisdom that really does need you to engage. You need to have a relationship with your body, your mind, maybe even spirit. You do need to have a relationship with what's going on. This method is holistic, it's all natural, it's sustainable, and basically we're talking about simple lifestyle changes based on Ayurveda and yoga that we can bring into our life, and it's free. It's all this stuff is normally the good stuff is free. It's the other stuff that we have to pay a fortune for, and there's a big cost that sometimes we don't realize to our health. So the bigger picture, what's at stake? So yeah, not aligning to your rhythm, basically. If you don't align, you're going to be, if you take the pill, take the magic pill, take the magic injection, you lose your weight, whatever it is that you want to achieve, you might get that in the short term, but actually the cost of that, you're not aligning yourself to the rhythm. So you're looking at chronic inflammation, poor digestion, things like hormone imbalances that we've spoken about, and premature aging. And then you're on the treadmill of more pills, more injections. What's the next fix? What's the next fix? You only have to look at the celebrities that are constantly trying to rejuvenate themselves, and they end up looking worse in the long run. Might work for a little while. So this is really going to give you, what I'm teaching today is really going to give you insight into how how the universe can affect your body, how the natural rhythms affect your body, and how you can work with the rhythms of the universe to really empower what's going on within you and to heal yourself. Yeah. So that's what we're going to talk about. And we're going to talk about what just one simple habit that you can really engage with to help you to lose weight and to sleep better. And then obviously have more energy. If you've lost your weight and you're sleeping better, you're going to feel better. You're going to have more energy. I'm going to give you practical steps and some tips on that. So it's going to be really good. So stick around if you feel this is for you. So some of the symptoms that you might be experiencing due to the misalignment or not being in sync with the rhythms is you might have fatigue, brain fog, weight gain. Despite dieting, you might have tried everything, but you're still putting on the weight. You may feel like you're bloated out, that you're a bit constipated, and then you're just tired, and then you're and the cycle of coffee to keep you going, but then you're exhausted. But maybe when you go to sleep at night, you can't sleep, or you don't sleep very deeply and you wake up in the night. And so even though you're exhausted, you can't seem to get the rest that you require to have the energy that you need for the day ahead, you know. We've all got families, we've got partners, and we've got jobs. All of this stuff requires a lot of energy and a lot of attention. And if you're tired and you're bloated and you're constipated and your brain's not working properly, you're going to be struggling and you're not going to be feeling your best. Yeah, and you're not going to be living your life how you want to live your life. You're not going to be living your wildest dreams for sure. I know that for a fact. You know, and you might have low mood and low mood. You might feel stressed out and just generally overwhelmed, like there's not enough time to do anything. Yeah, you're just running from one thing to the next, classic rushing women syndrome. So, and I think that feeling overwhelmed, that's like a common symptom now of modern lifestyle, that there's just so much going on. We are just completely overwhelmed. Yeah. So, so if you are fed up of trying different diets and quick fixes, if you do want a sustainable natural approach, and if you're ready to work with your body, not against it, then stick around and I'd love to share this wisdom with you. That kind of stuff is just keeping you stuck. You're going to just be stuck in a loop. So let's crack on. Before we do, actually, I just wanted to quickly mention that like I came to this, I am a yoga teacher and a yoga therapist and a wellness coach, but I came to this after I had my first child when I was 38, and I had like chronic anemia for the whole of the pregnancy and thereafter, and I just couldn't seem to recuperate. And my energy levels were so low, and I just remember like being so tired and just having my 2-year-old running around the house, like wanting to play, wanting me to do stuff with him, and me just laying on the sofa, just kind of like trying to go along with whatever he was saying because I was just too tired. And it would be like, let's watch TV so mummy could have a sleep. It was really bad, really bad. And I was taking iron, and that just caused a lot more problems for me. And so I was kind of stuck in a rut and I didn't know what to do. And then I came across um, this rhythmic way of living, and it completely transformed me as a person. I lost so much weight and I also gained so much energy. I remember just like one day, I'd been doing this for like a few weeks, well, so probably about 2 or 3 months actually. And I just remember I was in the kitchen and the radio was on, and I just had so much energy. I was singing and dancing around my kitchen. And then I just suddenly realized, like, what a transformation. I just, from being not able to even get off the sofa and like play with my 2-year-old to being singing and dancing around the kitchen in a few months, not taking iron and not having any kind of extra external medication from the doctor, simple lifestyle hacks. It was amazing. And I just remember the feeling of like, I've got so much energy, I don't know what to do with it. And I'd never experienced that before in my whole life. I'd never experienced feeling like I had so much energy and that I just wanted to jump about and I wanted to dance and I wanted to sing because I just didn't know what to do. And it wasn't like I was eating loads of sugar or taking anything that was making me hypo. It was like I was on a whole food diet, eating vegetables and fruit and things like that. There was nothing else involved. It was just this simple lifestyle changes. So what I'm going to say to you, it's the doctors, the people that sell the medication, they sell the injections, they don't want us to have this information. They want you to continue to be on that treadmill of buying pharmaceuticals, buying into the injections, buying into the medical care, whatever it is. They just want, and the big food the same. They just want to continue you just eating the processed food to then need medication, basically. There isn't an investment in this holistic health. There is, our culture and our society does not profit from you taking control of your health, taking control of your body, and deciding that you're going to look after yourself in a holistic way through lifestyle. There's no money to be made out of that. So what they want you to do is to stay where you are, to get sick, and then when you're sick, they can start to make a lot of money from you. And that, I truly believe that is what is happening, but that's just that's another story. But this information, the secret to aligning to the natural rhythms, it's so simple and it's so beautiful. And it's ancient. This has been around for thousands and thousands of years. So this, as a yoga teacher, I'm interested in everything in that tradition, and Ayurveda is the sister science to Ayurveda is the sister science to yoga, if you didn't know that. So, and it's the medical model in India. So they use this. This is their medicine. They have the Western medicine, but they use this as well. So this is tried and tested stuff. It's just that we don't use it in the West. So what is this dosha clock that I'm banging on about? So here's a picture here. So you can see the dosha clock here. Let me just move my things out the way so I can see what you can see. Okay, so you can see that this is a 12-hour clock. Yeah. So obviously for 24 hours we need to go around twice. So if we start, say for example, if we start at 10 a.m. At the start of 10 a.m. we move into a time in Ayurveda called Pitta time. Now, Pitta time is an energy that's that's affecting the whole of the planet. It's affecting everything. Pitta is the rising midday heating energy. It's, if you think about summer and fire, that is Pitta energy, and it's the flames going up, so that's rising, yeah. And if you think about your digestion, it's that kind of between 10 and 2 is when your digestion is going to be the strongest. Yeah. So that's pitta time. So if you're going to eat food, you are going to eat food because when you eat, you need to think about when you're going to eat. So if you eat outside of pitta time, which, I'm talking about your midday meal here, your lunch. If you eat outside of that pitta time, what happens is your body finds it hard to digest because you haven't got the strong fire, you haven't got the bile production in your body. Yeah, there's science to back this up. I'm just trying to break it so to make it really easy, break it down to make it easy. So if you're going to have your lunch, you need to eat your lunch between 10 and 2. And that is going to be the main meal of the day, where you eat your fat, your protein, your carbohydrates. It's going to be a complete meal. And that's going to be the big meal of the day. Yeah. And basically what happens is that big meal fuels your body all the way through past the 2 p.m. point into the next section of the dosha clock, which is the vata time. So the vata time is, I think a lot of us experience this, is when it's that afternoon energy where you kind of have a bit of a slump and you might feel tired, you might feel like you need sugar, coffee, something to keep you going. Well, if you've had a proper meal, a balanced proper meal during the pitta time, then you won't get that in your vata time. Yeah, you need enough fat and enough protein to keep you going. So if you're balanced and if you're aligned during that vata time in the afternoon, yeah, you will experience clarity, you will have fantastic communication skills, you'll be creative, and you'll be in your element. You'll be there's a lot of energy, there's a lot of movement there. So you'll be able to create, you'll be able to make stuff. Yeah. If you haven't had your good meal, then you're going to feel crap and you're going to want some sugar. Yeah. Before we get to the 6 p.m. point on this clock, what we need to do is have some dinner. If you was to eat after 6 p.m., you'll be eating during kapha time. So kapha time is that downward energy. It's a lovey-dovey, beautiful energy that connects and binds us together. But it's very heavy. And it means that your digestion is very sluggish and slow. So if modern culture, you have lunch on the go, maybe just a sandwich on the go, crap sandwich from the supermarket, with some crisps and a drink. That is just not, it's just all processed, dumb food. Sorry, that's how I feel. But it is. You will then have your crash during the Vata time, but then you're likely to get home and have your dinner in kapha time. You know, you would have crashed, you'd had your sugar, and then you're going to have your dinner in kapha time. And what will happen then is that was going to be the main meal of the day, because you've not had anything proper all day, and you're going to come home and you're going to want to have a big meal. And then if you eat that big meal after 6 o'clock, that big meal is going to stay in your tummy and it will not get digested properly, and it's going to create toxicity in your body. It's going to create poor digestion, constipation, bloating, feeling heavy, feeling sluggish. So when you wake up the next day and you're stiff and you're foggy and you just haven't got energy and you wonder why, it's because you had your dinner in the kapha time. It's so simple, but nobody tells you. Nobody tells us these things. If you've had a heavy meal, you know, if you've had a pizza or you've had spaghetti bolognese or whatever it is, sausage and mash, whatever it is that you have, those kind of meals are the meals that we want to be eating in the pitta time during the day when the digestive fire is at its maximum. If you think about the 12 noon sun, that is your reflective inside. What is outside is inside. So if the sun is at its highest in the sky, that means your digestive fire is at its highest. So during kapha time, the sun is going down normally. You know, obviously we're very far north in the UK, so as we go through the summer, the sun setting does, you know, get later and later due to the clock changes. But anyway, if you know, take it more or less as an average, eating after 6, 7 p.m., you're just not going to digest your food. And then what happens is we go back then into pitta time. We go back into that pitta time, and the second round of pitta is for cleansing. So when you're asleep, ideally your body will be cleansing, so the liver becomes active, the bile, and you're going to be kind of, your body's just going to be getting rid of any toxins. It's going to it's going to cleanse, and actually that's the time when we want to be kind of getting rid of not only the crap, but we can sort of burn some of the excess fat that maybe we've had in the day. We can, you know, it's an important point in the 24-hour clock. But if you've had your dinner during the kapha time, that food is not going to be digested in time for bedtime. So that food is going to sit in your stomach and it's not going to get digested. So when you wake in the morning, you're not going to be able to evacuate. You're going to be constipated. You're going to wake feeling sluggish, tired, dull, and you're just going to feel generally crap. Yeah. And you wouldn't have benefited from that detoxification. And if you do this day after day, year after year, or month after month, year after year, and you're not detoxing every night, stuff is going to accumulate in the body. And when we have that accumulation, we all know that that's going to lead to something chronic in the future. So you're setting yourself up for disease. You're setting yourself up for illness if you're not allowing your body to detox. So what is the solution to all of this? Like I said, 12-day noon, around that time, you're going to have your big lunch. You're going to have your dinner before 6. ideally. And I know that's not possible for everybody. People work and they have shifts, but this is like you can eat later, but the later you eat, the lighter it needs to be. So if you're eating at 10 o'clock at night, if that's your dinner, then you're going to need to eat something really, really light that's you're going to be able to process. So when it comes to pitta time, your body can then cleanse. So if you're at 10 o'clock at night, if you're eating a pizza, then there's no way that your body can cope with that. It's just going to sit in your tummy and just cause toxic residues in your body. Yeah. So what was the other thing? The other thing that I wanted to mention is the pitta time. And then obviously, once you've cleansed during the night, you wake. So if you have your dinner, before 6 and it's a lighter dinner, So what I'm talking about is food that can be easily digested. You can then cleanse during pitta time, and then you'll wake up early. Ideally before 6 if you can. If you're going by this, if you're wanting to align your rhythms and get really good sleep and have more energy and actually feel less overwhelmed. We tend to feel overwhelmed because we don't feel like there's enough time. Well, if you're waking early, you find that you've got a lot more time. If anybody's done that before, like if you've maybe you are an early bird and you just know that you have to get up early to get everything done. So if you're waking during that time, then you're going to have more energy because you're naturally waking up in Vata time, which is the energy is going out. It's a dispersing time. So you've got that a lot of movement. If you wake during if you wake during the Kapha time, because remember this is a 12-hour clock, so we've got 2 clocks here. So we're going around the clock again. So if you wake after 6 a.m., yeah, then you're going to be waking during Kapha time. And the Kapha time, the energy is heavy, slow, dull, cold. It's that kind of pulling you down energy, which is lovely. But if you want to get up, then you're fighting against the natural energy of what is available at that time. Yeah. So you want to be up and about. You want to be ready for the Kapha time when it comes because it's enjoyable, but you want to be ready for that. Let's see if I can switch to the next. The next slide. So what happens if we eat late? What happens if we eat, say if every night we're eating after 7 o'clock, you are going to gain weight. You're going to not detoxify the body. So that goes down to a cellular level. Every cell in your body is going to have toxicity. You're going to be bloated and you're going to be constipated and you're just going to wake sluggish and probably with a low mood. Yeah. So what can we do? So the one simple change that I wanted to make tonight to talk to you about is a keystone habit. And we do this habit in the club, in the Yoga Wellness Club. And the keystone habit is called earlier lighter dinner. So I'm just trying to find my notes, but it's not working. That's fine. So it's the keystone habit is the earlier lighter dinner. So we spoke about that with the dosha clock. So you're going to eat your dinner between 4 and 6 if you can. And I know that's not possible for everybody, but you're going to you're going to aim to do that a few times a week. At the weekend, you can try and do that. You can, it takes effort, but we're going to talk about that. But that is the gold standard. And if you're serious about your health and your longevity, then you're going to be eating your dinner earlier. You're going to make sure you have your big meal, midday, and then you're going to eat your food early. And ideally, you want to have it at least 3 hours before you go to bed. So you're not going to bed with a full tummy because that is not going to help you sleep. And I want you to eat lighter. So foods that are easy to digest, like things like soups, vegetables, warm salads, anything that's like watery, you can flavor it nice. It can be really yummy. Yeah, I'm not saying not to use spice, and you can have a bit of fat in there because you need to make sure you've got enough food to keep you going until the morning, but it does need to be easy to digest. So any like heavy carbs, for example, or really big meals, like if it was like a big slab of steak or um, like a jacket potato or a pizza or rice and pasta, all of that stuff is not easy to digest. Even raw food, when I say salads, it's like warm salads. Obviously, that is seasonal. In the summer, you probably would be able to cope with a raw salad because that your digestive fire, if you think about the seasons, that would be during summer, the digestive power is the highest. But not everybody's got the capacity to digest a cold salad, especially if your digestion has been low, if the fire has been low for a long time, if you've not been in alignment for a long time, you might find that you struggle to digest raw food. So start out, just have stuff that's warm, yeah, and just make it really nice and easy to digest. If you're going to have things like lentils, if you like lentils, you can have like the lighter side of lentils, like the red lentils, rather than like the beans, for example. So you just need to find things that are really going to be nice and light, like anything fried, no, no. Um, any kind of dairy, that is going to be hard to digest. Yeah, but everybody's different. So the beauty of Ayurveda as well is that we look at people's constitutions, we look at their digestion, and everybody's different. So you need to work out what's good for you. But as kind of a principle to get started, just keep it warm and simple, like a nice soup. Yeah. So the challenge, the takeaway, this one thing that I want you to go away this week and just try, because I'm a great one for experiment. I love to experiment. And is it true? You can you can read all the books and get all the information, but actually, does it work? Is it true? And you need to experiment and you need to find out. And that's what we do in the Yoga Wellness Club. It's all an experimentation and we have to tweak. Everybody's different. So there are tweaks along the way, but you need to experiment. So the one simple challenge, if you're up for it, is to eat an earlier, lighter dinner for 5 days. 5 days is nothing, yeah, out of your whole life, and give your body a chance to just to maybe have a little reset and see how you feel. It's an investigation. So what I invite you to do, if you want to, is to open your calendar and just have a look. What have you got this week? Have you got the capacity to have an earlier, lighter dinner for 5 nights in a row? And if you have, what time can you have your dinner? What is the earliest you can have it? Can you have it at 4? Can you have it at 5? Obviously, taking into consideration the prep times for the vegetables or whatever it is that you're cooking, so that you can sit down and be finished by 6 o'clock at the very latest. And if you're eating your dinner really, really late at the minute, then you might just want to aim for 6 o'clock, because 4 o'clock might just be pushing it too far. So you need to see. So once you've opened your calendar and had a good look at what you can do, what's feasible, I want you to find some recipes, just two recipes that you can make quickly and easily. Like I'm talking 20 minutes, 20 minutes of cutting and prepping and cooking. That is going to be good enough. Maybe you've got some go-to recipes that you already use. Maybe you need to have a look and find some recipes online. You can go, I think I looked on the BBC website, Lighter Dinners, and they've got a whole section on there. Take those recipes, make sure that you've got them available, make sure you've got the ingredients available, prepare yourself for success. Yeah. Don't let this be like another thing where it's like, oh yeah, that was interesting, and just carrying on. Because honestly, this makes a real, real difference to how you feel. And from people that are in the club, the feedback that I get, that this is one of the habits Like I've had people in the club that they have their dinner like at 9 o'clock at night. They like to have their dinner at 9 o'clock at night, and then they go to bed at like 1 in the morning, and then they wake up, you know, late in the morning, and they're already behind before they've even woken up, and they're feeling not good in their life, and their identity has been, oh well, I'm just a night person, so I like to do everything in the evening. And now that those people, those people are having their dinner early every day. They're having their dinner early every day, and they're waking up at 6 o'clock, and they're just completely transformed. Everything is different, and they're losing weight, and they're starting to feel really good in their bodies. So I know it works from my experience and from the people that I've worked with. It does work. Give it a chance. Do the calendar, do the recipes, and then, put in the comments that you've committed, so I can see who's making the commitment to their health, to themselves and to their family. And, if you've got any recipes, then I'd love to see what you're cooking. I love a new recipe. So just keep it really simple and yummy. Yeah. And you just need to plan ahead. Like, I hate planning ahead. I really do. But if I don't plan ahead, when I get home and I don't know what I'm cooking, then I'll just go to something that's probably not ideal, not in alignment with what I want to be doing, not in alignment with the earlier lighter dinner. So I need to plan ahead and make sure I've got that stuff in the kitchen, in the cupboard, and that I know what I'm going to cook for myself. And even if it's just for me, and I create something different for my family, that's fine. You can always batch cook, the earlier lighter dinner. You can make it for 2 days, and then, or make enough for 2 days and then store some in the fridge. So that the second day that you get home, you don't even have to cook, you're just heating it up, and you can have your dinner even earlier. Yeah. And if you find that your family just want to have their dinner at their usual time, that's totally fine. You can have yours earlier, and then you will just sit with your family, and you will be on, I call it like ketchup duty, where they're like, oh, can I have some ketchup? Now, I've dropped my spoon. Can somebody get a spoon? Oh, no, I need some water. So it's like, normally if I'm eating and those things are happening, I get slightly irritated because I just want to eat my dinner and I have to keep getting up. But actually, if I have my dinner before, then I'm sort of available to do those things for the kids. Yeah. Or to give my partner an extra, second helping of his dinner or whatever he's having. He's a labourer, so he needs that extra food. But as a woman, I'm not going to be sitting there eating extra portions of food in the evening before bedtime. So, and yeah, and you're just going to sit there and you're going to have your herbal tea or whatever it is that you like to drink, that makes you relax at that point in the evening. And you're just going to be with your family, but you're not going to be eating because you would have had your dinner earlier. Or maybe they're happy to have their dinner earlier and you can all eat together. So you just have to speak to your family and decide how you're going to work it, but just make sure that it works for you. And then know your triggers. Like if you're staying up late, if you're going to be staying up after 10 o'clock at night, so if I flick back to this dosha clock, if you're going to stay up after 10 p.m., yeah, which is the pitta time, that your fire, your tummy, your digestive fires start to reignite. Not reignite, but they start to, it's cleansing time, so there's going to be bile production. You're going to have that um, extra digestive power. Yeah, so if you're staying up after 10 p.m., you may find that you start to get a little bit picky and you want to start to rummage around in the fridge and see what's available before you go to bed. So I would strongly suggest, that you don't do that, because if you do, you will be cutting into your detoxification time during that pitta time between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. This is all about bringing you back into balance and alignment. So I'm flicking through slides in the wrong way. So yeah. So know your triggers. Like, after 10, I need to snack, for example, but there might be some other triggers. Your partner might come home every night with a packet of donuts, and you know that that's going to trigger you, and you can just say, please don't bring them in the house, or please don't eat them near me. Whatever it is that you need to do to set yourself up for success, then please do that. And then once everybody's eaten, you can just close the kitchen, clean, and it's closed. It's done. One and done. And that's it until tomorrow. Yeah. And then as well, think about what can you do after dinner that is going to be fun, because you're in that kapha time. After 6, you're in kapha time. So that's the lovey-dovey energy, the downward energy. So it's a real embodiment experience. We're in our bodies and we want to connect. So, it could just be having a nice cuddle with your children. It could be doing your housework. It could be gardening if it's in the summertime. It could be going for a bike ride. It could be anything for your body during that kapha time is going to be really beneficial. And you'll find then that you'll start to wind down and you'll start to get tired, and then you're going to want to go to bed before 10 p.m. Might take a while, but that's what will happen. And then you can really start to get that deep sleep. Yeah. Because we're not in that pitta time. If we go to sleep during kapha time, we've got the downward energy, which helps us to go into a nice deep sleep. If you're going to bed during pitta time, what happens is we tend to get a second wind because the energy is rising. So then we think, oh, I'll just do some emails now. I've got some energy. It's fine. I'll just do some emails, or I'll just watch another episode on Netflix. And before you know it, you're well into past bedtime, and you might even have trouble going to sleep. And if you do go to sleep, you're not going to have that nice, it's not going to be a deep sleep. It's not going to be deep as it would be if you went to sleep during kapha time. So you can see that this doshic clock is really important to, it's like a little map that can really guide us to like when we should eat, when we should sleep, when we should exercise, when we should communicate, when we should have, time for relationships, when we need to do exercise. It's a map for living, and it allows us to come into sync with the energies that are present in that moment. And what's happened in current culture is that has just been forgotten about, and we're just on something else at the minute, and it's just not working. And you can see that with people's health all over the place. So I hope that helps to give you a little insight in to the doshic clock, Ayurveda, and the secrets that the yogis use. This is like a map that the yogis live by. And if you really want to improve your health and well-being, this is a really good way to do that. Yeah. Do the challenge. Let me know how you get on. If you want more support, I'd love to hear from you. So I'm happy to do like a free 20-minute personalized habit session where we look at like where you're stuck, and I can give you some coaching, some strategy around your habits, and hopefully help you to break through a few of those habits and have a transformation in your health. Yeah. Might take a bit longer than the 20 minutes, but it's a good start. And then, or if you're not up for a one-to-one just yet, you can sign up for the next free talk, Find Your Weight Loss Rhythm. So that's going to be next week. So you can just email me if you want the 20-minute session, or you can go to my website if you want to sign up for the next free talk. So jodie@jodienorth.com or jodienorth.com/free health talks. That's if you want to sign up for the next session. Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed it. And just say thank you for being here, and stay tuned. I'd love to hear from you, to get your comments, and please follow me on social media if you can, Instagram, Facebook, and also on YouTube. I do post videos and yoga videos actually as well if you like to practice yoga. So have a look, check it out, and yeah, I hope to see you around. Okay, take care. Bye bye.